Hey there, John McGinniss here with one of my favorite all-time people, Samantha Podstata, who is an extraordinary person and realtor. Tell us a little bit, what's going on in the real estate market, Sam? How are things looking right now? What do you recommend for people that are maybe considering downsizing, maybe making a move of some kind, but they're reluctant? Is this a good time to list?
So it still is a good time to list, John. Normally our selling season is from April to about September. And this year's been slightly different with inflation high, housing prices high, and rates being high, along with everything going on economically with, our government and tariffs. People have been a little apprehensive to purchase. So the last couple of months we have seen houses sitting on the market slightly longer than normal for our selling season with reductions. With that being said, Powell did come on last week and say that we have met 4 of the 5 criteria to drop rates.
Right.
So that does give us hope that in the coming, 30 days, hopefully no longer than that they will start to drop rates to drive those buyers to come in to write offers. Because right now things have been, in previous summers, over asking multiple offers. We are still seeing, if you're priced right, some of that
Sure.
on the market right now. I mean, I just had a property go into contract within 3 days, and we had 3 offers that were over asking, which is phenomenal. But I do have properties also that are sitting a little bit longer than we anticipated due to rates being so high and the affordability that comes with that.
I know a lot of people now in my generation that are empty nesters. They may have hair this color, and they're realizing, we got too much house. Maybe they have stairs that are really, truly not in their best interest going forward. So they're contemplating the idea. It seems to me as though this may be a really good time to start making plans and perhaps consider listing and see what the market brings to bear. Is that represent some wisdom in your mind?
Absolutely. Most of my clients are actually in that demographic, John.
Geezers.
Not quite, but they are downsizing and in retirement, moving out of state, some of them. So it is still, like I said, a really great time to sell your home. We just have to be mindful of what's going on with the feds and obviously, tariffs and what's happening in the government because things are moving so quickly lately. So in the next, I would say 30 days, we are going to see many changes. So it's still a great time for you to be listing your house.
And obviously, if a person was to list and it looks as though there's shifts in the markets that may do better, they can be picky in terms of accepting offers. That's always an option for a seller. Nonetheless, it seems as though, from my estimate, that the iron may be getting a bit hot and ready for some level of movement on the horizon. Does that rise?
It does. So actually right now, people have also been saying that, it's a buyer's market. Well, it's still not quite there yet from my point of view. We do have properties that are sitting, like I said, a little bit longer where people are, offering a little bit less. But then if you're priced correctly, that there still are multiple offers over asking. So that line hasn't shifted quite yet. We are just seeing things that are sitting a little bit longer than normal this time of year. So the NAR settlement.
Yeah, tell me about the NAR settlement.
So last year, we had the National Association of Real Estate push through the settlement that happened in Missouri,
right.
And that changed what was going on with us overly disclosing whether the sellers are paying both sides of the commission for agents or not. And that's always been, like we mentioned last year when we did when we had our conversation, that it is always negotiable. So what we're seeing now in the market, sellers are still paying. They want the exposure for their property. So agents are coming in and still writing 2 to 2.5% for their commission on properties. And sellers, most of the time, are still paying that. There are a few out there that are wanting to discount the rates and not pay the commission until we get into negotiations. So it's not paid up front on the contract, that it's negotiated later, if at all. So there is a small pool of people that are taking advantage of what the NAR settlement has come to pass, and they're not paying that side. But generally speaking, it's still status quo, and the sellers are continuing to pay both.
It occurs to me that things have changed dramatically in the real estate business in terms of advertising property. It's not just any longer the MLS and count on things happening, but rather kind of aggressive, assertive, creative ways of getting the word out. And it looks as though you really tapped into some extraordinary ways of doing business. Is that serving your purpose as well?
Absolutely. You have to get the most exposure for your client to drive the most offers. And that's what helps people that I service, my clients get top dollar for their property. So not only doing drone footage and video, magazine ads, radio, there's so many different avenues that you need to market to really get the exposure out there for your clients.
Tell us a little bit about your specialty. I know you have a kind of a niche you work in. What kind of response are you getting, and how are things going overall?
So I have to say the audience at KFBK has been super responsive and supportive with especially the conservative movement, and then what services I offer my clients. We offer hauling, clean outs, selling items for clients, listing the property, getting it cleaned out. So from start to finish, we really help our clients and handhold them every step of the way. So that way it makes it an easy transition when we're going to list their home. So like I mentioned, we are a one-stop shop. So when you call us, we literally set up the timeline, get everything going. And that way you don't have to worry about anything. And then we're still working to get top dollar for your property. I just had a client recently. We turned their property around in 2 weeks and had multiple offers on it. So I had a hauling crew of 10 people come in. We moved everything out of the property, did some donations, then had the cleaning crew come in, power washing, landscaping, all of that in preparation to get it ready to go on the market.
All right. Well, I know that you are a one-stop shop. I know clients that I've spoken with that are very, very happy with your services. So I think keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job in providing a great service. I know you have a soft spot in your heart for first responders and members of the military. I know that's appreciated from their perspective. So it's great to spend time with you, as always, Sam.
Thank you, John.